Hey y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge, and we're going to be making Bulldog heads today. Now, you can use these for lots of things. The guy I learned them from used them for handles on his fireplace tools at home. I use them for bottle openers a lot, but I put them on other things. So it seems like there's a lot going on in these little Bulldog heads, but it's just steps. Once you learn the steps, you can get better at it and better at it. So let's see how we do this. The material we're using is 1/4 inch by 1 inch flat stock, just hot rolled steel. Now, there are 7 steps in this, and that does not necessarily mean there are 7 heats in this. You use as many heats as you need to get it done. Now, eventually that will mean there are or should be 7 heats in it, but right now don't worry about that. Just get a step completed before you move on to the next one. Let's look at the steps. Now, your first step is going to be to take this stock and fold it over on itself about 1 inch. Okay, you fold it over and hammer it down. Get it a little wider than the parent stock where you folded it. It's a pretty easy one. The second step is going to be, you're going to do maybe 1 3/4 inch and 7/8, and you're going to fold it over on itself. All right, and then you're going to take it and put the material on the edge of the anvil right here, and you're going to hit it on the back to kind of flatten this area out pretty good. The third step is to put the ears on. Now, the way that I put the ears on, I use a ball peen hammer as a struck tool. You cannot do this with a normal hammer. You have to have a softened hammer. I explain this later in the video. Now, once you've got your ears on, you're going to use a specialized eye punch like we made a couple of weeks back. I'll put a link to the video somewhere up there. And you're going to put in the eyes. Now, this one's kind of fun. I'm making him cross-eyed. So, well, it won't be fun for him, but it'll be fun for everybody else. Now, the next step, using another couple of specialized punches, and these are real easy. All this one is it's just forged round and then has a flat spot ground onto it. And then this is just a piece of 3/4 tool steel with a bevel on it. And these are to put on the nose and the mouth here. So the bigger punch is just put on about halfway and strut to put the mouth on. And then you get your center punch out. You get the center punch and you put on any whiskers you want. Put the eyes in. You see this guy right here is looking back this way. You can make them look either way. You can make them cross-eyed. You can make them just staring straight out. And then the final step, if you choose to do it, is to lay in one ear or both ears down. Now, this guy, I really like the look of this one. He's looking to his left, and his left ear is up and his right ear is down. It's kind of a, hey, what's over there? So I enjoy making them like this. As a matter of fact, the guy who taught me how to do these found a gate somewhere, and it was made up entirely, the top of the gate was made up entirely of these dog faces, and they were looking at each other. Each dog was looking at the dog next to it. Thought that was cute. But there are no hard and fast rules on these things. Like this guy right here has got little clipped ears. These are popular. The mouths, don't be too, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going for stylized. We're going for, the idea, the premise of a Bulldog here. Something else to keep in mind, when I'm making these, I make them long enough that I can hold the material between my legs when I'm hammering. When it gets short and I have to go to tongs, I'll have somebody help me, because it's easier that way. It can be done by yourself, but it's a lot easier to have somebody hold it if you're using shorter material. And what I usually do with these is I make one on each end and then forge a bottle opener right here and then cut it and then go ahead and make another one. The tools we're using, pretty straightforward. I use my little rounding hammer for the basic forging on it. This is the ball peen that I use as a struck hammer. This is a softened steel hammer that I use to strike this, and actually I use for all my struck tools in this, but it's softened steel. It's not a regular hammer. This is a small ball peen. I use this to fold the ears down just so I don't get carried away. The vice grips here, what I use them for is holding the punches. You know, you can put handles on your punches, but with this eye punch specifically, sometimes you want it this way, sometimes you want it this way. So I like to use the vice grips to hold that. Keeps my hand away from the heat. If you're doing a lot of work, get used to it. This is a basic straight punch and the little funky nose punch, and then the center punch, and that's all you need. You don't even really need all of this, but watch this to the end and you can see what you think you can get by with, what you think you need. Here we're going to take our 1/4 by 1 inch flat and hang about, I don't know, 1 1/8 over the anvil and bend it over. At this point, you might want to round the top of that. Corners off there, and we're just going to get this flat. What I've done, I've folded it over and widened it out just a little bit more than the 1 inch piece. That is step 1. Is step 2, we're going to hang, I don't know, 1 3/4, 1 7/8 or something over the side. We're going to do the sharp turn on it. I was messing around a little bit before I came over to the anvil, so that's why I lost my heat so fast. This is going to be a 2-heater. Back out, she's fresh, so I'm going to flip it. Flip right up to that first bend we did on the edge of the anvil. And drive down from behind it to flatten this all out. I'm going to come over to a sharper edge. And that's what we're going for there. So we've got our first fold here, second fold here, and now we've got a work area here, and that is where we will put our face. This next step, what I'm going to do is use this ball peen hammer as a struck tool. Now normally you never hit 2 hammers together. The hardened steel is just not good to hit together, you get splinters. But this cross beam right here, I softened it. This is my softened hammer. I use it so I can use hammers as a struck tool from time to time. What I did was I took the head, I heated it up to critical temperature, and I annealed it. I let it slow cool in kitty litter, clean kitty litter. You can also use wood ash or vermiculite. So heat it to non-magnetic and let it slow cool overnight, and it softens the steel, and then you can use it to hit hardened tool steel. So let's do this. What we're doing, we're putting on the ears here. Want to get your ball peen positioned on the corner, give it a good smack. Let's get going over here too. You want to be far enough in that you draw enough steel out to make good ears, but not too far in. Alright, that looks pretty good, I think. Now this is where our eye punch that we made a few videos back comes in. I'll put one of those things on there somewhere to that video. When we take our eye punch, now this is directional. We need to figure out which way we want the eyes to go. This one, yeah, I think he's going to be looking to the left. So get this turned the way I want it. And you'll see what I mean by that as we go along. But I'm going to keep using my little softened hammer for this because it's laying here. We're going to position our eyes right there, and now this is hot, so you don't have to go or in a couple of whacks. Now when you're doing this, get your punch in position and give it a solid whack, and then make sure it's in position before you give it another one. Alright. Got our eyes. Let me see if I can find a wire brush here. See our eyes in there. So we are ready for our next step. Next step, we need a couple more specialized punches. This one is very easy to make. It's rounded on top and then has a flat ground into it. There's not very much to this at all. And all this is a piece of 3/4 high carbon steel with a slight bevel on the end. This guy right here is for the nose, and this is for the mouth. So you want it, when you go to do this punch, you want the rounded part facing towards the top of your dog's head. Here's our dog. Now just like the eyes, you want to get it centered, give it a good solid hit. 2, 3, no more than 3. And now this guy you don't even come all the way on. One more. Alright. Never sure how good this stuff is showing up on camera, but now we've got the dog's eyes, his nose, and his mouth. And it will show up more prominently as it cools. And while it's cooling, I can try to figure out where we go center punch. After locating my center punch, which was not where it goes, we will put his eyes in, and then, you know, add a few whiskers here. Dogs have whiskers. This dog has whiskers. Maybe your dog doesn't have whiskers. Maybe your dog was in a terrible accident. This one has whiskers. And eyes. And it's looking that way. Now, you look at this. Yep, I want to throw one more heat on this because I want to draw that ear right now. I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to do that with another one. Okay, so to flop this ear over, I'm going to thin this ear right here a little more. Now this is a different one than we were working on a while ago. Now I've got his eyes looking this way, and throw one more heat over and fold that ear over. Okay, now all we're doing is just adding a little bit more character on this guy's ear. You can see with this ear laid over and this ear perked up and him looking that way, it looks like he hears something. This is one of the little fun tricks you can do with it. Boom, that's it. Now add that to your blacksmith arsenal. Go make 12 of these right now, and then you'll start to get good at it. So it's the repetition, it's learning the steps, it's doing all the steps. So hopefully you got something from this video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. Or suggestions, we're taking those too now. And if you didn't know, we've got another channel for homestead and stuff, and there'll be one of those things at the end of the video if you want to go check out Voodoo Homestead. And if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, y'all behave yourselves.